1Password, one of the biggest password management services, has released its annual report, and it dives deep into how companies are managing and struggling with access in the age of AI. They're calling their results the access trust gap, which is the divide between the access that it can govern and the reality of people access sensitive data. The report warns that corporate security is being undermined from within, which is true across the board. Social engineering has always been a weak point for corporate security, and I think an education is needed for a lot of employees. It is based on a survey of over 5,000 knowledge workers, IT and security professionals, and CISOs, which captures our present moment of rapid technological and cultural change. With the rise of hybrid work, systems as a service, personal device use, and generative AI, it's all stretched identity and access tools like single sign-on or SSO and mobile device management or MDM beyond their limits. 73% of employees are encouraged to use AI for some part of their workloads, but 37% say they only follow their company's AI policies. 27% have used unsanctioned AI tools. 1Password is calling this shadow AI, which is actually kind of a good term. Many employees are feeding sensitive information into large language models or using unapproved AI apps to get work done. In fact, 52% of employees download apps without IT approval. 38% has successfully accessed a prior employer's account. 70% of IT and security professionals say single sign-on or SSO is not a complete solution to secure employee identities. And at least 1/3, 34% of systems as a service apps are not protected by SSO. 66% of employees have poor password credentials. And take, for example, the information coming out after the recent Louvre art heist. It is being reported by the Liberation newspaper that a 2014 inspection by the French National Agency for the Security of Computer Systems showed that the password for the Louvre's video surveillance servers was simply Louvre. 73% of employees use personal devices for work, and at least half are not managed by MDM, mobile device management. So what does that mean for hybrid work that is more popular now than ever, even though there's been some resistance and pushback on this hybrid workload that we've gotten as a result of COVID? The modern workplace has undergone one of the most significant shifts in decades. What began as an emergency remote work response in 2020 has matured into a sustainable hybrid work model where employees split time between home and the office. Today, hybrid work is no longer a trend. It has become a core component of workforce strategy across all industries, ranging from technology and finance to healthcare administration and professional services even. Look, I work from home most of the days. Organizations have embraced hybrid work to attract talent, support employee well-being, reduce overhead, and maintain flexibility. Yet the model also introduces new operational, cultural, and legal challenges, as evidenced by this recent report. Technology and costs have made remote and hybrid work a solid option for businesses. Studies show the return to office mandates may actually hurt employee retention and productivity. 27% are more likely to look forward to their jobs if they're remote or hybrid workers. 23% are more likely to have an emotional, healthy workplace. 19% are more likely to cite high levels of productivity. 3 times more likely to stay at a company if they're a remote worker. 14 times more likely. They're 14 times more likely to quit if they're forced to make an option. And why is this important? Well, employee turnover is expensive for businesses. The average cost per employee when turnover occurs, meaning you fire or let someone go or someone quits, is around 6 to 9 months of an employee's salary. Though in some cases, especially in the higher level, it can cost up to twice the amount of an employee's annual wages to replace them. Employee retention is a cost-saving measure, so it is worth having that consideration. A balance, obviously, to discuss is not all businesses can be fully remote. And a true hybrid model of some in office, some remote, and maybe the better option is a shorter work week. There is data to suggest that a 4-day work week is beneficial. A 6-month trial in Germany showed an improvement in employee health and well-being, easier recruitment, stable revenue and profits, meaning having one less day per week did not affect their revenue or their profits. So whether your employees are at home, regardless of though what happens, whether your employees are at home using their own devices, in office using work devices, your AI policies need to be crafted to your reality. Some of the biggest pushbacks for hybrid work is the concern with security, labor law compliance, workplace safety. That's a really good one. Privacy issues, all of which, by the way, I can help with. But AI policies are unclear in many workplaces. And even where they exist, employees often aren't following them, as the data shows. The same is true for broader IT policies as well, not just AI. Too many companies are just using copy-pasted templates, never implementing them, and failing to enforce them. That leaves the door wide open for security breaches that would leave you liable. And not just security breaches, IP loss, data privacy violations, regulatory exposure. Having a policy is not enough. You need a policy that truly fits your organization, not a generic one from the internet. Every business has unique data risks, operational reality, ethical responsibilities, and compliance requirements. Your policy should reflect your industry, your workflows, and your internal culture, and then be enforced and audited. There's a huge difference between, say, someone in the medical field and someone operating a coffee shop and posting on social media. A proper governance approach means tailored AI use policies that protect confidential information and intellectual property, cybersecurity standards, and access controls that evolve with threats. Privacy protocols aligned with state and federal law, data governance rules that protect client and employee information, documented incident response plans before something goes wrong, and an incident report system in the case something does go wrong. Independent audits to make sure the policies aren't just written, they're actually being followed. AI is just one chapter in your company's IT governance manual. Businesses also need real conversations and real policies around cybersecurity, privacy, risk management, and compliance. A policy sitting in a binder isn't protection. And, this is true not just for AI, but for anything. I mean, there's been so many times that I've helped draft the perfect employee handbook, the perfect harassment protocols, procedures. Everything is set, everything is ready to go. And it doesn't matter if the company, if the owner, if the management, if the responsible people don't enforce it. Enforcement, training, and monitoring are key. How I can help you. As your fractional general counsel, I guide you in developing a clear, enforceable IT and AI governance framework that will protect your data and your clients' data and your employees' data and your IP, reduces regulatory exposure and litigation risks, builds a culture of ethical and compliant technology use sets clear expectations for your employees and your vendors even, ensures your policy can withstand scrutiny, and it's not just a check in a box. And now through the end of the year, Quicksilver subscribers with Mercury Legal Group will receive a customized AI governance policy and an AI compliance audit to ensure you're following your own standards. Strong policies are no longer optional. They're a competitive advantage and a legal shield. And the data is showing that we're not following through. So now it's your time, your onus. The responsibility is on you to follow through. Let me help you. Let's build a system that protects your business, your reputation, your customers, your employees, your future. Thanks. I appreciate you watching. One more thing. If you take anything away from this, I hope that you understand and see that AI is not going anywhere. AI tools are going to be implemented and used across all forms of workloads, across all businesses, across all sectors, personal life, everything. You know, a lot of people are dismissing this as like the next fad or there's going to be a bubble. And yes, there probably will be an AI bubble in terms of like valuation in companies, because like everyone's just throwing things at the wall and valuing themselves in the billions and it's not there. But ultimately, you need to understand that the basic, whether it's a large language model, generative AI, whatever, is around. It's going to be stuck around. This is more akin to the car, or I mean, I love thinking about like AutoCAD software, you know, like where it used to be that you would have to draft on these big tables and then AutoCAD came, or like Photoshop, or, you know, whatever. It is a leap in technology. And this technology is great because it's really democratizing certain things. It's going to be now where more of a layperson with the idea has the ability to create, to code, to paint, to do whatever is in their heart if they know how to use these tools. So you as a business can't ignore this, can't stick your head in the sand, because your competitors, your clients, your employees, people are going to use them. You can't ignore the advances of technology. You know, I'm guilty of sometimes being a Luddite. You know, I still prefer to carry a little notepad to write my notes on versus using my phone. Or I like to carry my Game Boy sometimes, my Game Boy Micro, which, oh, look, right here, you know? So like, I wish my Zune still works.
It's called a Zune. It's what everybody's listening to on Earth nowadays. It's got 300 songs on it.
It is funny how a response to all the technology that we have, all the power that we have in a phone, a lot of people are embracing retro tech, whether it's an iPod or a film camera or pen and paper, a book. I always have liked paper books. Sorry, Kindle, Amazon, Jeffy B. And so there is a balance. You know, there is something comforting about having a single-use device and everything. But back to the point. There are AI tools out there that can help you and to benefit you while decreasing your exposure risk. You know, you should look at some of the open source models that can run locally on your device. Olama is running on my Mac OS right now, not connected to the internet. It's completely self-contained. I'm playing around with it. Lumo is a privacy-focused model by Proton. If you want to have that online access, that's a very good option. There's options out there, and it's our responsibility to seek what is the best choice for us, for our business, for our clients, for our employees, and use it. Now, and this is not me saying, you know, don't use OpenAI and ChatGPT and Sora. I've thoroughly enjoyed using Sora to create videos of me in funny situations. Now, that being said, predominantly it's just for my personal enjoyment. I think I've used one video I created for a previous YouTube video I did, and that was just a short little clip because you can't do that many right now. Although I did just see that you can now stitch videos together, so that's cool. So I'm not saying that that's going to replace me sitting in front of a camera and just talking off the riff or reading from a script or whatever. I mean, I guess technically eventually it could. The ability to create an AI version of me and then just feed it a script and it reads it is here. And it's us now to determine, not just as the creator, but as the consumer of content, is what do we want? Do you like this off-riff natural video that I'm giving you right now, or would you prefer just a more streamlined approach? That's your decision to make. And that is ultimately where we're coming to. That is the next step. Beyond just AI use policies for businesses, is something to consider is as we consume content, whether it's ads for businesses, whether it's videos on YouTube, whether we're just doom scrolling TikTok or YouTube Shorts or whatever, you have to realize that this AI, I don't like to use the term AI slop because it denotes an idea that all AI produced, created, enhanced videos are not worthy of consumption. I don't think that's a fair comparison. I do think there is an area where AI can be used and it's helpful and it's useful and it's great and it still produces great content. But there's a lot of easy stuff out there. And, as YouTube, it's funny how YouTube is pushing more towards short form content, which a lot of people, like say The Verge,
the creator economy is about to implode,
are reporting that that's going to destroy the creator economy, partially because how monetization is handled on shorts versus long form is completely different. And also just because most people, if they're doom scrolling, it's not set up in a way to where you will follow someone when you see a video you like. You just more so trust the algorithm versus curating a subscription list, which you used to do, which I still do with YouTube. I mean, I love my subscription list on YouTube. The content and the quality of the stuff there are amazing. I might throw up a list right now of some of the channels that I thoroughly enjoy. And the second that they produce a video, I'm there to watch it because it's an enjoyment. It's great. Where am I going with this? I think we all need to be a little bit smarter, whether it's business, whether it's personal life, whether it's as a creation, whether it's at a consumption element, wherever you are on the spectrum. I think we have a responsibility to create, consume, promote quality content, and whatever tools we may be using, we have to do it responsibly, ethically, and legally. Thanks. I appreciate you.